I will say that our statistics, if you interview, are very good. So we get about 6,000 applications. We interview about 600 and we accept about 300. So if you actually interview with us, I think, that's a 50-50 accept, and then we might take more off the wait list. So the stats go up significantly as far as getting in. I think the difference, what we're looking for in an interview is applications can be so polished. Like Dr. Goodell said, like not only do applicants are very competent and they know what to say on an interview, but even more so, I think some applications are heavily edited by people's pre-health, maybe ChatGPT, although you're not supposed to on your AMCAS. Like there's plenty of ways we know you can pay to get a personal statement written for you. What we want and what we ask, we don't do MMI or anything like that, are those questions like Dr. Goodell said. I frequently ask people about, first of all, know everything on your application. And that can be hard. That seems silly, but you do your application in May and sometimes you're interviewing in January. So make sure you read through your whole thing and you can answer questions about each of the activities. And then I always, because I think motivation is what I see as the biggest predictor of success, ask about like, in your shadowing experience, what is a patient-physician interaction that you really want to make sure you model when you're a physician? And if it's exactly, sometimes I will get almost word for word what they wrote on our secondary when we asked about the most important clinical experience. I'm like, okay, yep, I read about that one. Like, how about another one? And I just want to hear that spontaneously from them. They can convey the same level of motivation and same passion, same interest. And I know Mr. Taylor said this. I feel like it also came up in the last time. This is why you should do activities you love. I want to see enthusiasm. Like you can talk to me about like women's sanitary products for menstruation, or, work with people for clean water, or like, it doesn't have to be medical, but I just want to see people who have spent time doing things that they're excited about. Like playing sports, like that is, being part of a team. Talk to me about what that was like. What was it like in the locker room when things are hard? Kind of getting at that resilience. So we're really just asking about your application and making sure, doing our best to make sure that you are as motivated and as engaged as your application seemed.
We do one little standardized interview of about 5 different questions that we do actually score on a rubric, and we tell our committee, start in the middle. This person is average, but their answers either move you up or down from average in that. And the second one is totally an unstructured interview where we just talk about the person, and you can pretty much tell a lot of the time when there's real passion and real what we call fire in the belly to do medicine. But basically, and I think both of my colleagues here have very well hit this. These people are polished. They know what this is about. They know what they're supposed to be doing. They know what they're supposed to look like on this. And really the most, I think really probably the most important thing about the interview is that it on occasion lets you pick out the person with the third eye. The person that just really doesn't fit, that doesn't work for you, that really, you wouldn't want to let them work on you with a vaccinated crowbar. You just want to stay away from that person. The rest of the people are going to be pretty well, but every once in a while, you get that person whose enthusiasm and not over the top, but well rooted, well experienced. This is what they've got to do in their life. They know that's what they've got to do in their life. They're really passionate about going into the profession.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. My name is Sana. I am a first-year medical student at the UC Irvine School of Medicine. And a little backstory about me. I went to the University of Southern California, so USC, for undergrad, took one gap year where I worked as an MA and barista, and got into UCI, and I love it here. So I'm really excited to share whatever I can to help you guys out.
And the next one I see is for Sana, who has been answering questions about this actually in the chat, but it's about the interview process. There are different kinds of interviews. There's standard interviews, there's MMIs. What was your interview process like for medical school? What are the different types of interview formats, and how would you suggest people prepare for them?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, interviews are a little bit daunting, but I think when you get to the interview stage, that means that you've done something right. And so that's when it seems as though schools really want to get to know who you are. So just for full transparency, the schools that I got interviews at were the University of Miami Medical School, Rush Medical College, George Washington, and UC Irvine. And not one of those schools had an MMI. And so I really can't speak to what an MMI is, but generally it seems as though they give you some cases like an ethical case, and they'll give you like a minute or two to answer it, and then they'll give you a few more of those, and they want to see how you respond on the spot. Most of my interviews were traditional interview style, which is where I'm just sitting and I'm chatting with you, and they have a chance to ask you questions, and at the end you have a chance to ask them questions. And for those, it was either with a student or a faculty member. So not only did I speak to doctors, but I also, for UC Irvine, spoke to a first-year medical student. And I think I am now an interviewer for UC Irvine, and I love to meet pre-meds. And what I'm interviewing people, what I look for is like genuine passion. And if you're going to tell me your whole story, and I know it's kind of hard to like tell your story to someone you just met, but just know that like we're trying to understand who you are, what you want to do as a physician, and why you're here. And it's just kind of important to put all those cards out on the table. Let's see. And I think when you're preparing for medical school interviews, my first recommendation, I will rarely recommend this, but go to Student Doctor Network and search up what, like, the school will have an interview page where students who have previously interviewed will write what was asked of them. I would practice those exact questions, because for some of the schools, not naming schools, some of the questions were exactly the same. And then I would make sure to definitely do a mock interview, whether that's with someone, I know that's expensive, or by yourself. You just take a video of yourself talking and you listen to it back, because you're not used to hearing your voice, and you might have some weird quips that you don't realize until you hear it. So I had to do this a lot. I took a lot of videos of myself talking and answering questions while I was driving to work. I would do a little voice memo, and I realized that I said like a lot, and I really wanted to cut that out. And when I took videos of myself, I realized I tilted my head to this side a lot, which I wanted to cut out. So that would generally be my advice. And if you're able to, just see if you can contact a medical student at that school and have them ask questions to you, and truly learn why you want to go to that school, because that passion is very evident when people interview for UC Irvine, whether or not they did research into the school. So yeah, do your research and be yourself. They're going to love you.
Perfect. Yeah, that interview is so important, because it's not just about getting to the interview, but it's also about really showcasing who you are during it, whether it's the MMI format, whether it's the standard interview. And also, you mentioned UC Irvine. Last year, when we did the Premed Experience 2023, one of our dean's panelists was actually one of the deans at UC Irvine, who is Dr. Megan Boysen Osborne. So great little connection right there. But really, kind of showing who you are is more than just about rehashing your activities. It's really about expressing to the interviewer all about yourself and why you want to become a physician. Those were such fantastic answers. This was clearly so helpful. We really want to thank all the panelists for being on today, for taking time out of your weekend to help answer direct questions. We got through so many questions. Obviously, everyone is going to be following you on social media and asking more. This was just an incredible, incredible panel. Thank you all so much.